They ordered me to take down my Vietnam flag. I refused to let my brothers be forgotten. You ever lose something so big, so deep in your soul, that when someone tells you to just take it down, you don't even get mad at first, you just go quiet? Yeah, that's what happened the day the HOA came for my flag. It was a Tuesday, blue sky, wind calm, birds doing their usual gossip in the trees. I was trimming the hedges out front, sweat dripping, radio humming, when this woman, clipboard in hand, high ponytail pulled so tight it looked painful, stepped onto my lawn like she owned it. "Mr. Tran," she said, "we've had some concern about the flag." I already knew which one she meant. See, hanging on a pole bolted to the side of my porch, just under the stars and stripes, was a smaller flag, yellow, with three bold red stripes running across it. The flag of South Vietnam, the one we fought for, the one I buried friends under, the one that still means home to me. I turned off the radio, wiped my hands on my jeans, concerned about what I asked, real calm. She looked uncomfortable, flipped a page on her clipboard like it'd save her. "It's not recognized by the U.S. government. It's not in the official flag code, and some residents say it's offensive, maybe even political." I blinked, took a deep breath. "You think honoring the people who died for freedom is offensive?" She didn't answer. So I told her the story. Told her about Quezon, 1968. Told her how I was 17 when I landed there. Told her about crawling through rice paddies in the rain with bullets zipping past my head, not knowing if my next step would set off a mine. Told her about Bao, my best friend, who bled out next to me, whispering the words, "Tell my mother I didn't run." Told her about the American soldiers who treated us like brothers, even when we couldn't pronounce each other's names. Told her about the fall of Saigon, and how I got out with nothing but my father's wristwatch and my mother's rosary in a torn shirt pocket. And then I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "That flag may not be recognized by the U.S. government, but it's tattooed into the memory of every Vietnamese refugee who made it out alive, and you are not going to erase it with a form letter." She shifted on her heels, said she'd bring it to the board. A week later, I got the notice official HOA violation, $50 fine per day the flag stayed up. You know what I did? I raised a second pole. Right next to the first one, tall, gleaming aluminum, grounded in concrete. I added a plaque at the base in English and Vietnamese that read, "In memory of those who fought for freedom and never came home. We remember you." Then I called the local news, told them everything. Within 2 days, my lawn was full of reporters, old friends from the VFW, neighbors with tears in their eyes, and kids from the local high school history club holding candles. Some of them had never even heard of South Vietnam before. But that day, they learned. Karen from the HOA, yeah. Her name really was Karen, showed up with another violation notice. Tried to hand it to me while cameras were rolling. I didn't even touch it. Just turned to the reporter and said, "This flag isn't about politics. It's about memory. And if you ask me to take it down, you're asking me to forget the people I loved." That night, someone left a bouquet of yellow flowers on my porch. No note, just flowers. By the weekend, 6 other homes in the neighborhood had raised the same flag. The board called an emergency meeting. Karen didn't show. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from the mayor's office. Not the HOA, the mayor. It said, "Mr. Tran, thank you for reminding our city what honor looks like. The people you remember will never be forgotten." I framed that letter, hung it next to my father's photo in the living room. The HOA, they backed off, quietly amended the bylaws to allow culturally significant historical flags. They never apologized, but I didn't need them to. Because now, every morning, when I step onto my porch with a cup of coffee and see that yellow flag dancing in the wind under the stars and stripes, I don't see rebellion. I see remembrance. And they can find me all they want, but they'll never silence the men who died with honor. What do you think? Is this flag just an old symbol or a memory that can't be extinguished? If someone asked you to remove a part of your soul, what would you do? Comment below. The end.